Welcome to Pokemon Scarlet, a brand new Pokemon game set in the land of Paldea where the land is yours to roam and is inspired by Spain. Simply must join me for a cuppa. Cuppa? Is that a slang term for Spain? To clarify on why I'm doing a Pokemon video on my channel, well, for my birthday and Christmas, this past year, my sister got me a Nintendo Switch. She really surprised me and I honestly just can't thank her enough for it. There's a lot more doors for opportunities for different games to play and more streams and more content to do that are on the Nintendo Switch I haven't even got a chance to get my hands on. I thought Pokemon Scarlet would be a great place to start. I know this game has been out for about 2 months ago and people have probably said their piece about it already with its issues. Kids just moving at 2 frames per second. It cannot handle this much excitement. But I thought with this time around, I might shake things up a little bit by doing something that I've always wanted to do on the channel, a Nuzlocke. And this is the story of how my first ever Nuzlocke attempt went on Pokemon Scarlet. For those that aren't familiar with how a Nuzlocke works, I'll explain that for you. It's essentially a hard mode that people do to make the Pokemon games a bit harder. Pokemon is known to be a super casual, easy game that's catered to new players for every game. You've been playing Pokemon for the past 25, 26 years it's been out. You'll know they'll hit you with the same tutorial, the same long beginning that slowly builds up to get into the action of the gameplay. And this game is no different. So a Nuzlocke has been made, which essentially gives experienced Pokemon players a challenge with a set of rules they have to follow in each playthrough. These Nuzlocke rules have 3 common rules. The first rule, you have to catch the first Pokemon that you encounter in each new area. Oh, look at the Weasel. What's up, Weasel? Now, with these new games, it's going to be a bit different on how each encounter works, but I'll explain that later on. Number 2 is having to nickname the Pokemon that you caught. Essentially, this rule kind of gives you a bit of a bond between you and the Pokemon. Ooh, there's a Bonsly over there. Catch this thing quick. Broccoli. And number 3, the most important rule is if the Pokemon faints in battle, it is considered dead and it cannot be used again. And if all 6 of your party members faint in a battle, that means you lose the lock. And some players can even add rules like set battle styles and no healing during battles, but since this is my first official Nuzlocke attempt, I decided to stick with the basics for now. And now with the Nuzlocke ruling explanation out of the way, the Nuzlocke attempt. It all starts with what my trainer was going to look like. There are many different options of customization that was given at the start, and I kind of played around and accidentally made Yuji Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen, so that's the look I went with. In this story, we are a student that's elected to go into Pokemon Hogwarts. The director of said Pokemon Hogwarts comes into our home to give us our starter Pokemon. I am the director of the Naranjan Academy. You may call me Mr. Clavel. 3 this time around were Sprigato, the grass cat, Whale Coco, the fire gator, and Quaxley, the water duck. While trying to make up my mind, the director goes off to the neighbor's house to talk with another student in the academy, and we just happen to follow them there with the Pokemon. And from there, we were introduced to our rival of the game, Nemona, who I can only describe as Pokemon's answer to Goku from Dragon Ball. But Pokemon battling, in fact, we should battle right now. You and me. Hold your horses. I want to try a different strategy. Let's go again. Just one more battle. Next time, he and I are battling, I'm going to bring some answers out of him. She's just done nothing more but just like focusing on like battling. It was time to pick our Pokemon. My sister had recommended that Fuego Coco was the Pokemon to get and to play in this entire game. I mean, what's not to like about him? Fuego Coco is a happy-go-lucky fire gator with a buck tooth that always has a smile on his face. And I guess from the final evolution, from what I heard, was definitely the best out of the 3, and would be a lot easier for the early challenges, I was told. So naturally, Fuego Coco was the obvious choice for a good Pokemon experience. If I was simpleton, so I thought instead of choosing Fuego Coco, I went with my second best pick, Quaxley. Quaxley with a water pompadour with a sassy style, and just like Daihi Denogla, I love dogs.
I love dogs. Oh.
I ended up naming him after the late Gilbert Gottfried for his iconic voice as the Aflac duck. And now with Nimona being too excited that we've chosen our starter, she wants to kind of just even up the playing field so that we can be able to compete with Nimona. And she oddly enough chooses the other starter that we have the typing advantage for. So she chooses Frio Coco, and our first rival battle begins. I feel like it's going to be a very one-sided battle. It's our boy against our other boy. Gilbert already knows Water Gun. Ah, it's over. It just makes this too easy. Big surprise. I win the first battle. After settling our rival battle, our mom giving one last thing before we go, me and Nimona make our way to Pokemon Hogwarts. First route, we learn about Pokemon catching, and this is where our Nuzlocke actually begins. Because a Nuzlocke essentially doesn't begin until you receive Pokeballs to catch your Pokemon. I caught my first, what I would consider a first legal encounter, Lechonk. And I named my Lechonk Pierre. We keep going through the route after a while and hear this loud major cry that came from a Pokemon from the bottom of a cliff. We float down the cliff in the most hilarious way possible. Boy, we just fall from the cry. Okay, that's just BS. You can't just have a phone just save your life like that. That's not a parachute. You can give it something to help it perk up. Do I have to give him my sandwich? Is this what will help? Oh. Oh, it likes the sandwich. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, this thing powered up. Oh, this guy looks cool. The Pokemon gets up, transforms, and marches into the cave we traverse in for a good little bit. Not until we get mauled by a horde of Houndour. Get out of here. Helps us escape, gets out of the cave, and transforms back to where we found it. We take it to the lighthouse where we meet a weirdo named Arvin who tells us this Pokemon is called Koraidon. He gives us the Pokeball he was kept in after pounding him in a Pokemon battle. We passed through the route to the next town before Pokemon Hogwarts where I caught a Paldean Wooper, which I appropriately named Pooper. Next route is where I decided to find the best way to get our encounters for this game. Getting the encounter in traditional Pokemon games was just as easy as running blindly to the grass, and whatever pops up is your encounter. But in the newest iteration of Pokemon games on the Nintendo Switch, most of the Pokemon you can just generally see just roaming around the overworld. I could have just blindfolded myself and just randomly run to the grass, but you could accidentally even walk away to a different area without noticing it. So the rule I went with was suggested by someone from Reddit that suggested this new rule of how to make legal counters. For each new area you find, you catch 6 Pokemon and put them all in your box once you caught them. When you caught 6 Pokemon in the area, you roll a dice to see the number it lands on. Whatever the dice rolls on to the assigned number of Pokemon out of the 6 you caught will be the Pokemon you use on your team. Let's roll the dice. Dice roll, please, and that's Tarantula, is it? That's Tarantula. My first Pokemon with this new rule was a Tarantula, which I just named Fodder. We make our way out of the gate of Mesagoza where we have another rival battle where she shows off the whole Terrestrialize mechanic. It's essentially like a crystal power-up that enhances the Pokemon's ability of an attack depending on the typing. And sometimes the Terrestrialize has different typings for a Pokemon for a very specific move that a Pokemon learns. So we beat Nimona again and enter Mesagoza to make our way to Pokemon Hogwarts. On our way we encounter Team Star and test out the Terrestrialize mechanic ourselves. After beating them, we enter the Pokemon Hogwarts, and we also along the way meet Professor Seda. Seda looking kind of good though, you know what I'm saying? Like she's kind of baddie for real. Who would trust us to keep Koraidon safe and allows us to use it as a bike to traverse the world faster. We are told to go on a school treasure hunt and our journey officially begins. This game has 3 different storylines to do. First is Victory Road, which is your standard battle, 8 gym leaders and get badges to challenge Elite Four and the champion of the Paldea region. Second story is Path of Legends, which is where you fight Titan Pokemon to help the weirdo Arvin collect recipes for sandwiches. Third story is Starfall Street, which is going around the region and putting a stop to Team Star's plans. All that out of the way, we start off by challenging our first gym. So we got ourselves a new area. We got some encounters to get. While we catching all of our Pokemon for a new member, we suffered our first casualty. Oh, it's a terrestrialized Diglett. Okay. Alright, well, let's fight it then. Oh, shoot. I'm under-leveled. Oh, no, dude. Well, he was fodder, so... Okay. Thankfully, we caught it before it killed off any more of our mons. So with Pokemon we catch, we roll another dice to land in our newest member of the team. Our next Pokemon joining the team will be... Okay, Starly. Okay, you know what? I'll take Starly. I'll take a Starly. Congratulations, Starly. You are now part of the team. Stark the Starly. And I thought with this Pokemon, it would be a perfect fit for the first gym, since the first gym leader specialized in bug-type Pokemon. First gym time, let's do this. We make it to the gym where we have to complete a task in order to challenge the gym leader. And this would go for each Pokemon gyms in the region. We make it to our gym challenge, which we have to do a Fall Guys style minigame to get an olive all the way to the goal. Okay, this is just stupid easy. There we go. Too easy. This is way easier than anything I've done in Fall Guys. Once we did that, the first gym leader ready to fight. The gym leader whose I could really describe as a bug-loving Betty Crocker of the town. So now the introductions are out of the way and our first gym battle has begun. Here is how it went. Gym leader Katie. Let's do this. We got a nimble bug. Wait, did I say your Pokemon was level... level 14? Oh, I may not be ready for this. Okay. Tarantula, done. Teddiursa? What are we doing with a Teddiursa? This is our last Pokemon, right? I mean, I probably could send out Gilbert. Gilbert's my strongest and has powered up water moves, so this should be pretty good. So she probably will have to terrestrialize here. So if she's going to do that, then I'm going to do that as well. Oh, so it must be bug type. If that was the case, I should have kept Starly out. Let's see how much this does. Ooh, not a lot. I could be in trouble. Oh, I'm in trouble. I'm dead, am I? Gilbert! I straight up just lost my starter. What? You are absolutely kidding me. I straight up lost my starter. No, this is where I lose, isn't it? This thing probably won't do too much damage to you, so let's hope for the best. Maybe you can poison it. This thing is... Okay, I poisoned it. Come on, Pooper. Pull this one out. Yep, I think I lost. Pierre, it's up to you, man. You can win this. Nope. Okay, I lost. Well, I lost a lock. I can't believe I lost the lock already. That was totally my mistake. I should have just trained up my Pokemon a lot further, but that was my fault. This ain't one of the most embarrassing things that's happened to me on this channel. I don't know what is.